What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. I am glad you're here. So today I want to do a very brief video and just talk about Rock Island. So I think it's pretty clear by now that I'm not a Rock Island fan. Okay? I have said this in many videos, but I always give credit where credit is due. Rock Island, as weird spec, out of spec as they are, and all that good stuff, as much as I don't like their finishes and just the choices they make, I give full credit and say they do run. They, especially lately, I have seen good things. Rock Islands do run. And, but, you know, I have a lot of people that start comments out with something like, yeah, I know you think Rock Island sucks, but hear me out. Well, let's just ask the question, do I think Rock Island sucks? No, I don't. Now, this is a Cimarron, and there are people who have tried to convince me that I need to get a real Rock Island because Rock Island used different standards for Cimarron. They set up all new tooling just for Cimarron. No, they didn't, first of all. I did look into that, and I did compare this to 3 new production Rock Islands at local gun stores. Guys, this is a Rock Island, okay? I know it's upsetting, and you guys want me to go buy a Rock Island because somehow you think that no, really, those ones are better. They're not, okay? That's why, look, I bought this Cimarron for a pre-war build, and I kind of reviewed this simultaneously as a Rock Island because it's made by Armscore. They're not using different steels for the Cimarron guns. They're not, like, people are coping really hard. And I'm not trying to be a jerk here, but people are coping really hard about that review and saying, like, yeah, but they are using lesser steels for Cimarron, and they're not heat treating the same way for Cimarron, and they have a whole different shop for Cimarron. No, they don't. No, they don't. There's no evidence of that at all. And if there is evidence, I'll be happy to say I'm wrong. But everyone that I've talked to and all the comparisons that I've made with this pistol against what's on the shelves right now in gun stores, they're the same. The steels are the same. The finishers are the same. Like, it's a Rock Island, guys. Let's not kid ourselves. I know that people go on forums and some guy said something at some time and we take that as fact. That's not a fact. So if somebody wants to go and, like, call Armscore and ask them that question and provide me something in writing from Armscore that that's true, I will happily admit I'm wrong. But I don't think that I am, because that's not a smart business decision to create an entirely new facility to make some one-off guns for Cimarron, who is basically an importer. I think they might have a separate set of stations for the Cimarrons because they are done a little bit differently. There might be some different CNC programming to make frames that don't have the relief cut like on this frame. They probably have, some laser engraving stations to do this very specific Cimarron laser engraving. But do I think that they have set up an entirely new factory to make guns for Cimarron and made them lesser quality just to say they're not Rock Island? No, we're getting into fantasy land, and that's really hard coping. So back to the main topic here. Basically, this is a good representation of Rock Island. They have the same ejection ports. The frames have this same goofy sort of flattened front strap. The magazine wells are a little bit big and goofy. The grip screw bushings are installed a little bit far apart. 2 people that I know that have Rock Islands have encountered this same issue where it seems like the bushings are drilled too far apart. And so some grips other than Rock Islands are hard to get on there. This seems to be a consistent spec issue. Mainspring housings are a giant shot in the dark. There are people who say mine dropped in just fine. Guys, I personally tried to install a TSOS, a Colt, a Springfield, an EGW, an Ed Brown, and I think that's it. 5 different mainspring housings would not fit in this gun. So they're their own thing. Now, people can say that's only Cimarron. I don't have an explanation for that. I'm just calling them out of spec, or at best inconsistent in their spec. I don't know if they've got like 2 machines cutting mainspring housings, and both of them are set up differently. I have no idea. But basically, these guns are just strange. And there's small things like the depth of the side of the dust cover. It's taller than you would normally see on a regular 1911. Again, this very Arms Corps-esque ejection port. It's a very lowered and square ejection port. It's very easy to identify that Arms Corps ejection port. So, you just go down the list, and there's a lot of little funky stuff. Now, does that mean Rock Island sucks? No, because at the end of the day, guns are designed to do one thing, and one thing first and foremost, and that is shoot. And for a lot of people, their only standard for what makes a good gun is if it shoots. And if that's your only standard, I'm not criticizing you. I don't think you're wrong even. Because look, if this is what you can buy in your state or country, this is not a bad gun. Like, I own this, right? I don't hate Rock Island. I bought this, and listen, there's a lot of guns that I've got right now that I freaking hate. I really don't like. I bought them for this channel, and I don't like them. I like this one. It shoots fine. It looks cool, man. Like, this pre-war getup I've got going on it, like, I feel like it came out pretty nice. The gun runs. I have no complaints about how it shoots. I've never had a failure with it, but it's a funky gun. It's different. It's different. So, do I think Rock Island sucks? No, I don't. I just don't like them because they are a different spec. They're not standard John Moses Browning spec in a lot of places. They are in some, right? So I was able to drop in a Wilson Combat Sear and a Colt Hammer. Those made it up. So the holes are in the right spot. Everything's working fine. I was able to drop in a TSOS thumb safety. That worked just fine. No complaints there. What I don't like about Rock Island is the weird spec choices. I think they're close. They sort of pass the 20-foot test for a 1911, but the closer you get, the more that you just kind of go, yeah, this isn't quite right. It's like a Wish.com 1911. I don't mean that as an insult. It's just like, it's just off. It's not a true 1911. So I don't like that about them. I don't like that the fitment is very often very shoddy on their guns, except for, weirdly, I have to say the barrel on this is fit as good as my Kimber. As good as any barrel that I've got going. So full credit there to Rock Island or Arms Corps. Their barrel fit is excellent, actually. So overall, their fitment, their finishes, the spec, the overall design, the guns are just off. And for me, personally, I just don't care for them. And then I guess the last thing I would say is they use cast frames, they use MIM parts, and is that the end of the world? No. No, you can shoot these guns, you can trust them, it's okay, but get 10, 15 years down the road, put a lot of rounds through them, things are going to look a little bit different. Those are my reasons for criticizing Rock Island, but I don't think they're just like the worst. I don't think they're terrible. I think, I'll be honest with you, and this is going to be a really offensive statement to some cultists. If I had to choose between a modern production Colt and a modern production Rock Island, I would jump on Rock Island with both feet so hard and so fast. Here's one thing that's great about the Rock Islands. They don't self-destruct as you shoot them. Yeah, I'm a little bitter about that still. Now, as I've said many times, I just think TSOS is a better value. It's an all-forged gun. Across the board, they're in spec. They're just better. At the end of the day, guys, I really don't hate Rock Island. I don't hate Arms Corps guns. They're just not my favorite, and that's okay. But if this is what you've got, because I see a lot of people like, well, mine's been fine. I'm not saying these guns suck. I think they're fine. I really do. You could think of it like tires, right? There's some people who, I'm a Michelin guy. I spend the money on Michelins because they're awesome, right? But then I know people who are like die-hard Goodyear from Walmart people. And, look, I don't like them. I don't like the way they ride. I don't like how long they last. But those people, guess what? They are driving across state lines. They're going everywhere, and their tires aren't just like falling apart. So who am I, right? And they're saving a lot of money compared to what I'm spending. So to each his own. I'm not criticizing people for their choices on Rock Islands. it's really just, it comes down to a taste thing for me. But at the end of the day, to answer the big question, I don't think they suck. I would recommend them over Colt, over modern production Colt. Now, if you're going to compare it to like a Colt from the 70s, 80s, maybe early 90s, even some spots in the early 2000s, no, there's no comparison. They're in different universes at that point. But, you know, for a new gun, if you're going to buy modern production, these aren't bad. They're not bad. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to put that out there. I hope that's helpful. I hope that clears things up for you, that I don't hate Rock Island. And I'm not an anti-Rock Island guy. It's just not my preference. So hope you guys enjoyed that. We'll see you on the next one.